Tony Taylor. Are you here for Leaders Lead the podcast? Let's go. Hey, how did you beat me? Look, let me tell you about this podcast. We got like 5 seconds. Leaders Lead the podcast is about leadership. Not just the leader without, but the leader within. All of these leaders that I'm talking to across the country, well, across the world now, they have one thing in common, and that's that they have overcome some insurmountable obstacles to get to where they're at today. Come on, let's go. Hey, welcome to On the Record, powered by Leaders Lead Network and speakuniversity.org. I am Tony Taylor. Every election, voters are asked to choose leaders who will make decisions that will affect our families, our communities, our future. And too often, those decisions are shaped by campaign ads, mailers, sound bites, and headlines. Nothing wrong with those things, but if we're just looking at that, like, how do we really know the story? Who are we going to vote for? What are their backgrounds? What are their passions? What led them to get to the point that they are today, to where they say, hey, you know what? I'm going to run for office. That's the question that we're here to decide today, or we're here to figure out, is why my friend Miguel Gutierrez is running for office. He taught me how to say that.
Wow, yeah, Gutierrez. Yeah, roll the R. Hell yeah. Thank you.
Gutierrez. No, man, I'm proud of myself. But right. Miguel is running. Miguel, you're running for, and correct me if I'm wrong, you're running for the Mason County Commissioner for District 3, correct?
That is correct. Mason County Commissioner, District 3. Yeah. So, you said, like, where did I come from, right? What's my background? You know, back in 2021, I said, I think I can do a better job than the people who are in power right now. You know, in 2021, it's like, it's really important that the people, the civilian leaders need to be in charge, and they need to know what they're doing when they're in office. This is back in 2021. I'm going to go back to, what happened on January 6th, right? So we have to have responsible people in charge when there's an insurrection going on and when it's an emergency. And so I was a nobody from nowhere. I was just living here in Shelton. I said, I can do a better job than these guys. I ran for city council, and I won. I won by 5 votes. It was a recount. I was behind by 3 on Tuesday night, and then it went up to +7, and then it ended at +5. So I'm going to tell everyone right now, your vote counts. Every vote counts. And I want to tell you, my neighbors were not necessarily on, they were not Labor Democrats like myself. They might have had an R by their names, but they voted for me because I was a good neighbor, essentially. All my neighbors around me. So those are the 5 votes that I needed, was just being a good neighbor, and so that's what I wanted to bring into my campaign. That's what I have brought into my campaign. And I'm really proud of the record of my past 5 years on city council now. I won my re-election by a big margin. So people thought I'm doing a good job and kept me here. And now I'm running for Mesa County Commissioner because I think I can bring the success that I brought to Shelton City Council countywide. So if you want to ask me any questions, I'm proud to talk about my accomplishments of what I did in the city. I'm proud to talk about being part of this city, integrating myself into the city, walking my dog every day down Railroad Avenue, the Central District, our downtown, and having folks talk to me sometimes not so nicely about fixing their potholes and their high water bills that we're trying to fix. But I'm just part of this community. I'm so blessed to be here. I'm so happy to be talking to you, Tony Taylor, and getting my message out of housing, healthcare, and hope, and peace, love, and justice. Those are the things I'm standing for. Those are the things I'm bringing here to this community. I'm a living example of the American dream. I'm trying to keep it alive for everyone because it's really rough out there, man. Where do we start, Tony?
I know, man. I know, dude. Hey, I appreciate that introduction, dude. Hey, you're on fire, man. I'm really inspired by you, and I've been inspired by some of the things that I've seen you do. And then one of the things that popped out to me was those yard signs and street signs that you have. I remember when we first talked, I was like, man, I want to know about that, because what you're doing is something a lot different than what I see other people do. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah. Okay. Let me tell you, this is part of my comedy routine every third Tuesday at La Cantina down here at El Serape.
You do comedy
I
too?
really hate politicians, man. And then I became one, right? So now I'm in therapy, so that's part of my routine every third Tuesday at La Cantina. So I'm a
I'll tell you,
politician. You know what I
I'll tell you,
really,
man,
you
I've
know
been
what I
going to
hate?
therapy a lot more since I've been
Yeah.
dealing with politicians.
Okay. Hey, we talk about that 3 minutes to 5 minutes I have is like therapy. So I'm just gonna get all the stuff I hate about what I'm doing right now.
Yeah.
So what I hate, like, I hate campaign signs, man. They're ugly and they're plastic and vinyl, and they're like a lot of them are now AI generated. It's like it makes me sick and ill. Like, why are we putting? This is part of the gosh, it's another industrial complex. It's the political industrial complex, man. Like we have all these elections every year, not every 2 years, not every 4 years, every year, and we put up these vinyl signs, and it's all causing pollution. It's like, you know what? I was lucky again. I was so blessed. My neighbor had just changed her fence out, gave me all her old fence post signs, and I said, I'm going to make these little art installations about my campaign, and they're going to be my campaign signs. And I put them up all over town. And then I've been doing that. And this campaign too, people give me their old wood, and I make signs out of them. I not all of them. Some of I had to buy some and put some out there because it's a big county.
Uh-huh.
But I'm still making my own signs, and they're made out of recycled wood and old paint. And I get friends together, we paint them together. And I'm trying to decrease the amount of plastic and vinyl pollution we're putting out there. And that's part of my campaign. It's part of who I am. Reduce, reuse, recycle. I like to do things in threes. So if I speak like that, it's kind of easy to remember of like what I'm about, right? So reduce, reuse, recycle, housing, healthcare, and hope, peace, love, and justice.
So,
Let's keeps it easy for me to reminds me who I am. And it's really easy to be authentic and talk about these things and not have any shades. Like this is who I am. I'm I'm here trying to live my best life and inspire people to live their best lives. And man, it's really hard right now because we're all depressed. We're all like, look at all this pollution. Look at all these politicians trying to get my vote, trying to get my money. I just want your vote. I want you to maybe volunteer and get other people to vote. I'm not big on trying to get money. I'm not trying to have people tell me who I am because they give me money, and that's
yeah.
a lot of what's happening is people listen to their donors and they don't listen to their voters,
Oh,
and that's why I'm in politics, because I want to listen to my voters, not my donors necessarily. I mean, that's cool. Like, you donor have my direct phone line because I have to PDC report it, right? And so you're gonna get you can call me, but you can also call me if you're not a donor and a voter. Just talk to me. I'm part of the community. I'm here. I'm ready for it. This is what I signed up for. I'm not
I
going to
love
be
it.
silent anymore. I've got my power. I've got my education. I know who I am. I've done all my shadow work. I'm here to do the best job I can for all the people, not just Democrats, not just Labor Democrats, for everybody, independents, Republicans. We might disagree on a lot of things, but we agree locally on how we should be treated and how we should treat each other. And I want to bring that back and bring that out. And I want to stop fighting and start unifying. And we have to live together when this is all over, because this is a nightmare right now. We got to wake up and get out of this nightmare. So woke is okay in my book. Be woke. Awaken yourselves from your slumber, my friends.
I love it. I love it. It's okay to be woke. When did woke turn into a bad thing, right?
Exactly. When you were woke back in the 90s, right? If you understood that the triangle trade was actually a code word for slavery, right? So our American history is sometimes sanitized for us to digest it. We have to like look at our history and go, man, this is our time. Look at this guy, that guy, right?
Yeah.
Like, I'm a shadow of this guy. I wave signs at the park. This guy was willing to get, he's willing to die for that. Like, he was willing to get the
Yeah.
dogs and the fire
And he
hoses
knew
and
he knew it was
and
coming too, right?
Yeah.
Hmm.
And people like John Lewis, they're causing good trouble. Good trouble's getting together with your friends, standing up for justice, sitting on those counters saying, you need to serve me because I'm part of this community. I spend money here, red, white, and blue, but money is green. Come on, you know?
Damn.
So,
Yeah. Can you come to
yeah,
Lacey and be
I,
a council? Can you run for Lacey and
this
be
is
a
all I,
council member here in Lacey, man?
this is only
Damn.
me on one cup of coffee. See me on a double shot or a quad shot espresso,
Let me ask you.
So,
Let me ask you this.
yeah.
You're a current council member in Shelton right now. Did I get that right?
I'm the second term council member. I serve four full year, four term, and then I'm in the right in the middle of my second term, like a year and a half in of my second term.
Does
But
everybody have?
before that, I was a teacher. I'm not really a politician. I was a teacher. I was a special ed teacher. I was a community organizer with AmeriCorps. I got people to give up a year or two of their lives to give back to the community, not in the Peace Corps somewhere else, but here in America, right where
Yeah.
we needed it. Um, and it was a grand awakening for a lot of these comfortable middle class folks who all of a sudden had to work, in downtown Oakland and say, "Oh my God, it's hard to be out there." And the biggest recruitment tool that we had was to add healthcare for our AmeriCorps members, so that they could go see the doctor. And that it was they were like, wow. And then we had Team Fridays, and they were like, we have to take a whole day off to go see the doctor and make appointments. Go, yeah, it's hard to be poor, huh? So
Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
AmeriCorps was such a great program because it let people who had a little bit more find out how people are living with a lot less, in distressed areas. Also, we brought up a lot of folks who are in the community already doing that work. Um, became part of it. Do you know who? This reminds me of one of the places I worked. It was in Oakland. It was called Castlemont High School. It was Marshawn Lynch's high school. They had this one place. It was a community center, and everyone flocked to it, and it was part of the AmeriCorps program. And we did
Hmm.
kids. We had events. We had things for kids to do. We had like DJing and dance and a place for kids to go, so they didn't have to spend money. They could just hang out and be kids, right? It was a center in Castle. Like, we should have AmeriCorps back. Like, that got cut severely, and we need to bring AmeriCorps back. We need to bring people back. We need to bring people to help people back.
Yeah.
Kids helping kids, kids helping seniors, seniors helping kids, seniors helping seniors. That was the Volunteers in Service to America. This is back in the '60s with Lyndon B. Johnson and the Great Society program, right? And that also brought you credit unions, by the way. So we did some great things in this country. Why aren't we doing them? Why are we bending over backwards to give out subsidies to billionaires? Why are we doing that, Tony?
I don't
And
know,
that
man.
affects us. That affects us down here in the county because do you remember ARPA, the American Repair and Recovery Act by Joe Biden?
Yep.
We
Yep.
we
Yep.
had all this money to spend locally, and it's on our website in the county. Like, look at all the things we did with ARPA, you know, and we're not
Yeah.
getting that now. We're getting nothing. We're getting negative. We're gonna have to think about our rural hospitals right now because they're gonna get cut. We're gonna talk about Medicaid. They're getting cut. Talk about SNAP getting cut. Those people are gonna get hungry. They're gonna get more in debt. They're gonna get bankrupt. You have to go to the ER, and that's expensive. Man, we're doing all the wrong things, and we're giving away tax breaks to all the wrong people. Because
Yeah.
if
And
you give them a
if
little
you
money
say
at the
this,
bottom, that gets spent up, man.
yeah,
Let's
and if
let's
you
get the
say
money
this to
back to the
other,
people.
if you say this to other people, there are people that are actively denying that these things are getting cut. Like, oh, none of this is
Are
happening.
you kidding me?
This is fake news. Meanwhile, you see it. I've heard from people saying that their funds are getting cut. That they go to the gas pump and they're getting ready to damn near faint because it's like almost double what it was before. And I'm curious, man. Yeah, you got a lot of fire and you want to change a lot of things. How
Mm-hmm.
is that going uh, in the seat that you're at right now? These ideas that you have, are they easily?
Yeah.
I'm curious. I got to know
I'm
this.
so glad. I'm so glad. So here in the city, we did a lot of things. So the first thing we wanted to attack was housing because housing's way too expensive. We don't have anything to rent even, you know? So even when a rental comes on, it's like, it's way unaffordable, even these places that were low rent places that are not low rent places. It's really expensive even to find anything out here in Mason County. But what we kind of released an alphabet soup of programs, like all these acronyms I'm going to throw at you. You kind of ready? We
Kind of.
we made it easier for accessory dwelling units, ADUs. Okay, so you can put a little home in your backyard. We are looking into rezoning into multifamily tax exemption zones, MFTEs, so builders can build apartment units, but they have to set aside some that are below market rate. Okay, and we've got a lot of space here, that infill space that we can just hook up to our already existing sewer system. So it's going to be cost effective. You know, we've also decreased the lot sizes here from 6,000 feet to 4,500 feet. So developers are coming now. We had zero planning on the books in 2021. We've got up to 1,600 units coming, single family homes and apartments coming here in Little Shelton. That's
Man.
almost 20% of our population is 1,600 more units coming in. You know, our city's 10,000. So we are on the brink of doing something great here and increasing housing in our urban growth area, so it's not sprawl, you know? So
How come everybody don't know this? I didn't know. Does everybody know this? Because
yes.
I didn't know that y'all were doing all of this.
And so also we're also big into permanent supportive housing, PSHs. So we've got like Oxford houses and things popping up around here. So people that are on recovery have a place to live, affordable, and they're not out on the streets. You know, we decreased, we eliminated the restrictions on single room occupancies, SRUs, so that you can have like a dorm style living downtown, right? If you put a units above our 1-story units, if you put something on the second level, you don't have to have, each room doesn't have to have its own bathroom. You can do a shared bathroom. That's called single room occupancy restrictions that we've lifted. We've also lifted restrictions on height restrictions here in the city, so you can build up, not out. And that makes it more affordable for builders to come and have denser units. It's also better for the city to have more meters hooked up in one location to one sewage pipe, right? Instead of building more or laying more pipe. That would be out in the country. But if we did all in the city, it's way more cost effective to do that. So if we do our infill in our urban growth areas, and that's coming, and it's already happening. And it's part of what we've done on the council over the past 4 years. So we have some real, we're doing some real good things out here. Also, we're talking about healthcare and the cost of healthcare. We incorporated a program that our police fire chief in the north, Bo Bakken, he did something called the Mobile Integrated Health Program, where he embedded nurse practitioners into the emergency services units, so they can go out and do house calls to folks instead of folks going to the ER. So
really?
these people, yeah. So they can go and prescribe medications if they're already on medications. They can they're basically, we can do house calls, you know. So in a rural area where people are sometimes not, you know, getting the correct care or proper care, like we can go out there and see folks, and not just for medical emergencies, but for crisis emergencies or for mental health emergencies as well. And if they're embedded with the fire department, they're more likely to be trusted than if they're embedded with, say, the police department, you know?
Oh,
So,
yeah, I see what you're saying.
yeah. So this is called the Mobile Integrated Health Program. It's the best thing we're doing in Mason County. It's the best thing we're doing in the city. We're diverting folks away from the ER and treating them at their homes. And you don't know how hard it is to get around here sometimes. That we have a lot of roads in this county, and we're not all centralized downtown. So bringing this downtown and the whole county is a really big plus for us. And we need to find a way to get permanent funding for this, because right now we're shifting money around. We have like grants for a couple of years, but we need to find a way to make this permanent and to have it billed properly. Because right now the insurance companies are running the table; they're running the show. So,
I believe it. I believe it.
Well,
They are.
yeah, and they have a
That's why we
vertical
have this
integration
show,
of monopoly,
honestly.
you know. So
Yeah. Wow.
They've got it all integrated, so that they're making all the money from pharmaceutical to care. You know, this is like a vertical monopoly that they've established, and this is part of what we feared Obamacare would happen, and then we have death panels. Well, it's happening, right? And it's not people making decisions; it's AI making decisions now, right?
Mhm.
Like who gets to live and die. Obamacare was a stopgap to stop the skyrocketing rates of insurance, and it was an idea from Mitt Romney, and that got in Massachusetts got spread nationwide, and it was a conservative idea. It wasn't a liberal idea. It would have become liberal if we got Medicare for all. And really, I tell people all the time, and this is going to be funny, but also cringe. But if somebody had repealed and replaced Obamacare with something better, that person would be really awesome. But that didn't happen. Obamacare is getting repealed. All the good stuff out of it, it's getting gutted. There's no plan or a concept of a plan, not even a concept of a plan to replace it. There is one, but it was my friends who talk about Medicare for all will tell you that this is something we can do, and we can expand Medicare and make sure it's not just for people over 65, but expand it to a larger group of people. And if we get the younger people in the system, then of course that's what insurance is about, right? Getting younger people to pay for the older people who are at the end of life care, and just to even out the cost of it, right? So this is all doable, but would we rather pay the single payer system, the government, or would we rather pay individually all these different companies who are the middlemen? We chose the wrong way. We're chosen to pay middlemen. We should be in charge of our medical, just like all the other developed countries in the world that do it, and almost brag about it. I think even Mexico's doing it now. Why can't we do this?
I
Let's
mean,
find a way.
I mean, I know a couple people that have gone to Mexico so that they can get better medical treatment. And I'll tell you, man, I agree with everything that you freaking just said, especially, when it comes to the medical system and insurance, basically running the gamut on us. You know what I mean? There's been, I can think of, just like the last like several years for my family where we're hanging on from just a phone call. Did we get approved? Did we get denied? Or they approved it, but then they changed their mind later on, and then go to legislation, and you find out that they got their hands in their pockets too, right? They're rather confer with them than to consult with us, the constituents, which are just like, it just don't make no damn sense to me.
And they're there to make money off you. Sense. They're there to make money off you. They're not there to heal you.
Yeah.
This is what's this is not healthcare. This is managed care that gives you drugs. Like they're pushing all these pharmaceuticals on us. Like I should have been. I have type 2 diabetes. I should have been prescribed an hour walk with my dog, not 2,000 grams of metformin.
Yeah.
And like, let me tell you, I'm walking my dog and I'm off the metformin.
There you go.
So this is like, we should be pushing healthy lifestyles. Not more drugs. So
no, you're right. You're right, man.
There are simple solutions, but we're twisting ourselves to pay middlemen and corporations all this money, and they have actuaries on their team to say we can charge them this much, and they won't complain. We charge them this much, they'll complain. Well, now we're complaining. Come on, we need to have a better system. We need to stop giving away socialism to corporations. We need to spend our tax money on people, not on corporations.
I agree. And the first time that I've ever like went and sat down at like a legislative hearing, and was the situation I was telling you about with our family. And who the one person that was nay for this, who spoken like as far as nay, they were against this bill that would have helped thousands of freaking kids get the medical coverage that they desperately need here in Washington? It was the freaking insurance representative. Can you fucking believe that?
Right?
Can you fucking believe that?
Who are we benefiting? Who are we trusting with our health? Insurance companies who are making money off us? Whoa. We need to rethink this, everybody. Let's send really good people to our state ledge and get us if we can't get this nationwide, let's get it regional. I think the governor's talking about a Cascadia healthcare program where we get California and Oregon together with Washington. Let's do that. So
let me ask you this. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. No, I'm done with
I,
that. I only heard the governor say it once, and I was like, well, yeah, let's do that. Let's have a West Coast healthcare system. You know?
no man, I'm curious. What led? Was there a defining moment that you said, "Hey, you know what?" And I don't know if this is true or not. Correct me. But is there a defining moment where you're like, me being a council member or me being a county commissioner, I think I can make more difference here. Was there a defining
Yeah.
moment for you to making that decision?
Yeah. Just looking on a map, the county is 60,000 people, the city is 10,000 people, and the coverage, the square mileage. I can make a bigger impact in the county. Also, our budgets are way different. Like the city budget is about 27 million, the county budget's like 200 million. So
Mm-hmm.
just on the amount, I might be getting the numbers wrong. Oh my, I have to go do more studying, but it's almost 10 times a bigger
They'll
impact in the
crucify you in the
county.
comments about it later.
Yeah. It's about it's 6 to 10 times bigger the county than the city. So and the amount of money that we're and the miles of roads and the miles of sewer, and it's just it's bigger. It's city county. That's and then watch out, legislators. I might come after you soon. So city, county, state, right? And I'm like, let's also, hey, U.S. senators too. Watch out, Cantwell and who's the other one? Cantwell and Murray. No, Murray's cool. Cantwell, you might need to go.
Oh man, you're coming from him. So I guess it's safe to say, once you transition from being a council member to then to then the next office, that you are going to make a legislative run too, right?
That's who knows. I'm gonna be really happy at county. I'm not even there yet. I'm just visioning.
Ginger said you
But
have her vote.
listen, Tony. I don't want to toot my own horn, but if there was one person in Mason County you do not want to run against, I would be the number one on that list. I
Damn.
don't care what party, Democrat or Republican. Who do you not want to run against in Mason County? Miguel.
Why's that?
Sorry, that's real. That's real. Like, do you want to
Why's
run
that?
against me, Tony Taylor? Let's go. Well,
Oh
like,
man, you're challenging me.
Tony Taylor, you're a good guy. You should be in office. What are you doing behind the scenes?
Yeah, I like it this way, man. I like it this way. I
Okay.
feel like, to be honest, I'll tell you,
Uh-huh.
I've had a couple of people talk to me about this opening that we have in Lacey, and
Mhm.
I'll be honest. I feel like I can do more, I can say more, I can be more without being elected, and that's just what
Okay.
I see.
That's fair. That's
And
fair.
I could be wrong, but it's definitely not, like, for my family right now. It's definitely not one of those things that I think would add value to. And but yeah, dude, why do you say it's hard to run against you? I'm curious because I want your
Tony, do you want? I just want to ask anyone out there, who do you not want to run against? Name one person. I bet you I would pop up.
But
I'm just
why
saying.
though? I want to know why.
Why? Because I'm so authentic. I'm not your regular politician. I'm going to tell you the truth, man, even if it hurts. I'm going to tell you, even if I get elected, it's going to be hard for a couple years. I'm going to have to repair a lot of damage. Like, I might be a one-termer. That's fine. But I'm going to set us straight. I don't care what party we are. We need to get it straight. We need to work for the people. Remember who brought us here: the voters, not our donors, the voters. Not the corporations, the voters. I'm going to work for the voters of this county. And who's voting for me? I'm the voice for the voiceless here. People. I want to tell you a story. Because I want to tell you that's part of being a good politician is being a good storyteller. Look it up. Any good storyteller, you might make a good politician. We had
I
a
love you, man.
proclamation. We had a proclamation that we had for 4 years. It's called the Pride Proclamation for LGBTQ plus folks here. And we were in danger of not passing it this year, or not proclaiming that this year. And then the city council had one member absent, and then we had a deadlock 3-3 whether we were going to pass this. Okay, so I was like, nah, it's not going to die in chambers here, 3-3. I made a couple phone calls to some friends. They activated the community, and we got 100 plus people, almost 200. It depends on who you talk to. The Journal said 140. People in the crowd said it was over 200 people. We couldn't fit everybody in the council chambers. We filled up the whole city hall in the whole place. Over 200 people maybe came out to talk. Over 50 people made testimony this night about why we should have equality and recognize LGBTQ folks here in the city, right? Just a proclamation. That's all.
Yeah.
That we
Yeah, yeah.
that we proclaim that everyone has equal rights and that we support you, we see you, we want you as part of this community. You know, that's all we wanted. We've proclaimed it the past 4 years. Please proclaim it again. You know,
Yeah.
and everyone came up 3-1, almost 4-1. We're in favor of this, right? And this is, you know, Mason County, you know, so to have everyone's support just by a couple of phone calls coming out, we changed this. The council flipped 5-2. It wasn't 3-3 deadlock. It became a 5-2
Oh,
vote, you know? So coming out to speak really matters, you know? It doesn't cost us any money. It was just a proclamation of how we treat each other here in the community, you know?
yeah.
And we got a deadlock 3-3 into a 5-2 proclamation for pride. Okay. And we
It was the people that
had
did
a
it. It's like,
victory. It wasn't me. I just did the motions in front of people. It was all the people who said, we need this. I just made the motions where I'm supposed to in the court of in our civic center, you know, when we had we made a motion to bring this up, we did, and we passed it, proclaimed it. And it wasn't 4-3, it was 5-2, because one of the council members said, yeah, people came out to speak, and there were more people who said yes than no. I'm going to change my vote. You know, so we can do this if we activate each other and find the hero in ourselves and activate ourselves to be publicly active, to be civically engaged. You know, it wasn't me necessarily. It was everyone who came out. And that's literally like everyone came out to talk about pride. So
how do you do that? Because it sounds like, you know, if you're gridlocked 3-3, it sounds like maybe there was some people on the other side of this proclamation. I would imagine, and it's just me, I'm not trying to stir the pot, but I would imagine that probably pissed some folks off. And I also would imagine that you probably didn't give a damn about it. But how does that work? Does that happen often? Is it like a reoccurring thing? How do you feel about it? Like, take me through that.
Yeah, this was the first piece of activism that really popped here in Shelton in a long time. You know, we were going backwards. We're sliding into doing nothing. The county commissioners don't even have proclamations anymore. You know, only the city. The county commissioners are too scared to even proclaim Happy Donut Day. You know what I mean? Like, come on, proclaim something, stand for something. You know, we need better people up in the county commission. Let me tell you. So, you know, doing this energized everyone here in this county. I hope there are more voters now because people saw that we can fight back. Another thing that's hot right now is the flock camera thing. I'm the only council member that brought it up and said, you know what, I might have made a mistake on this. So we voted 7-0 to pass it, you know, but now with all the abuse about it, I don't even think that if you do a risk management situation, if you count how many times it's abused versus how many times it saves somebody, it's not evening out. Not only that, it's being used by a corporation to take all our information. They're not necessarily telling us how much info they do have on us, and how much information they glean from it. And it just seems like we're giving up too much of our privacy for just a little bit of safety. And in fact, that safety is not played out by stats if you look at how many times it's abused, right? So, as just a risk manager, simple, you know, plus minus, it's a negative EV play, right? If you play poker, you know, this is not evening up, right? Like it doesn't make sense to do this if there are so many negative things that are happening because of it. And not just that, they're sharing the info with other organizations that don't have as many restrictions as the state of Washington does for it. You know, for
Yeah.
example, they might be sharing with ICE, and they might be causing disappearances of people statewide. You know, because of all this information sharing and gather dataing, we don't know which agencies are going for it. A few years ago, when we had Joe Biden in office, I might be okay with
And
sharing
people are
with,
definitely disappearing. I think there's a
but
big
yeah,
there's just people online that I'm seeing that's saying, "Oh, that's not happening. That's not happening." You can confirm that people definitely are disappearing.
yeah, yep, yep. And there was even public comment made at one of our council meetings about, the police have a fund that they can share with folks who are down and out. And one of the stories that was shared was a police officer bought a meal for a family whose father just got whisked away, in the middle of the night, right? So this family didn't have any food, and this officer bought them a meal from because of an immigrant family whose bread earner was gone and missing. So this is really happening. There's even evidence of the police telling stories about it. People are gone, and we have sources that work closely with the community that count each one. And they think there were over 40 in the past 2 months. People have disappeared, and some of these people were birthright citizens. So
Which area?
here in Shelton, here in Mason County, yeah. And
Wow.
if and I know our congresswoman goes to Tacoma a lot, tries to get in and gets information. She's led some groups that got in there in Tacoma and talked about how horrible the conditions are in there. People are choosing to deport themselves even though they're citizens because the conditions are so bad, you know? So
Whoa.
these are concentration camps. These are not
So you mean
places
tell
where,
me citizens of the United States of America
yes,
in
yes.
fucking Shelton that are now
Mm-hmm,
in detention centers in freaking Tacoma,
mm-hmm.
citizens here are saying, "Hey, this fucking place is so bad that I would rather get deported."
Yes, yes. And we're
Huh.
not talking about it. Well, we are in some circles, but it's so heavy and deep and sad. But this is going on. We are collecting people, torturing them, terrorizing all our folks. This ICE organization is a terrorist organization led by the federal government. Mic drop. This is a terrorist organization, and we're supporting it with our tax dollars.
What do you say for the people that I know for a fact that's going to be in the comment and say bullshit? It's not what do you say
What are
to
your
the people
What are
that
your
say,
sources? I've got people here on the street disappearing. Who are your sources? I've got
yeah,
people here who work directly with community. I don't want to name them right now because they're going to be targets
yeah,
too.
don't,
Um,
yeah.
so we have organizations working directly with immigrant families. We've got a system here, man. This is like the Underground Railroad. We have to, for real, Tony. We have drivers go to places where we know people are hiding to give them food.
Damn.
Okay. And we don't want one driver. We're asking for lots of drivers so no one can get followed. You know, we are organized. You don't understand what's going on out here, man. Like, people are in danger. People are disappearing. People are hiding. People are, this is our moment this is our Underground Railroad moment.
Nah.
This is our, this everything moment. Like, everything about democracy that you've been taught about, liberty and justice for all. We're fighting for it right now, you know. And like I
Nah.
said, I'm a shadow of this guy, Martin Luther King, who talked about not just, and the march that he did was about fair wages and civil rights. It was about workers' rights and fair wages. And look where we are again today, still fighting for the same stuff. You know,
Why do you think we're here?
oh man, Tony, we the Democrats effectively captured the center right with we don't want to talk about politics with uh, Clinton and all, and Obama was supposed to be that guy he was a centrist and kept us in the middle and did qualitative easing. and got us back on track economically. But how did we kept sliding further right? I mean, Reagan had amnesty for folks. You know, Obama got DACA, and those people are in danger when they show up to their court hearings. They get pulled away and disappear. You know, like how far have we gone? We talked about immigration reform, but Reagan got us amnesty, and a whole bunch of my uncles and aunties are like, I'm going to vote Republican for the rest of my life now. You know, and
No matter what.
you know, no matter what. And we've got people. Obama got us DACA folks, 2 million of them who have zero crime rate, and they can't even become citizens. You know, how have we gone far to the right? Because we kept choosing the least bad person. You know, and the least bad in a two-party system got us to where we are now. We need to have ranked choice voting. If you ask me for real, we need to talk about. We should have a more European system where
What
there are
is
more
that?
groups
I keep hearing
represented.
about that. What is that? What is ranked choice
They use
voting?
it. They used it in Alaska just recently to get a new senator, I believe. It's when you get to choose 1, 2, and 3. Like, I don't really like this person so much, but he's my second choice. And then,
Oh,
so then you just keep shuffling who you voted for. Okay, well now all the bottom 5 are gone, the top 5 are there, and then now with reshuffles, you just put your choices in order. So
how
you
would
don't
that
have a
help?
binary choice. You have a full choice of candidates. You know,
Yeah.
so
How would that help with selection and the community?
well, it would help with
Because
getting
I
one person, one
genuinely don't
vote.
know. Yeah.
If we really want to have one person, one vote, then ranked choice voting is the only way to do that, because we've got the senatorial system where every state gets 2 senators. It doesn't matter if they're Wyoming, if they're California, they only get 2 senators. So
Mm-hmm.
if you're from California, you kind of get shortchanged because you're overrepresented in the Senate by certain states. And therefore, the weight of certain races, this is why we have swing states now. We're not campaigning countrywide. We're only campaigning in Pennsylvania and Michigan and Ohio,
Mm-hmm.
or places where they're considered swing. Like, this is not democracy. This is not one person, one vote. This is a representative democracy that's been overly represented of certain areas. So, and
Yeah.
if you and now that there's money involved, and money is now speech, you just pour money into it instead of votes. So we have a
Definitely
lot
seeing
of
that.
reform to do. The money in politics is ridiculous, all the dark money. And we have to do the Public Disclosure Commission, but frankly, that's only what we declare. I bet you there's some money that's not being declared.
You think so?
How do I prove it? I can't prove it. But
So that makes it even
if you
worse.
look nationally, there's a lot of PACs now that are coordinating with folks instead of not coordinating. I mean, if you have a political PAC, you're not supposed to coordinate with independent expenditure should be independent, and they should not be coordinated. But there are PACs that are being developed just to fund certain people in certain races that are coordinated efforts. So they're not even hiding that fact anymore. And like, our system is bought and sold. Like, Elon Musk put in about $290 million and bought a presidency. So
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
he did it on a lot of things. He did it on Facebook. Like, if you look on Facebook, and if you look at what he has to report somehow, and after the election, you look at, well, who is this LLC? Oh crap, it's an Elon Musk trust. So this is how they're doing it now. You just form an LLC, and then this is what's happening to our housing as well. All these private trusts are buying up distressed property. Look what happened in Maui. Look what's happening. What's going to happen in Spokane?
Mm-hmm.
Are
Mm-hmm.
people going to rebuild, or is insurance going to cover all that? What's going to happen? Insurance
I
companies are
hope so.
probably freaking out about all the extra fires we're having. Like, can you get fire insurance nowadays? I bet you it's going to go up in price.
Yeah.
So what
Let
are the
me ask you
actuaries
this.
saying?
I want to ask you this. It has, as you've kind of like rode through the county, or Mason County, are there any concerns that you keep hearing over and over and over again from the people?
Yes, the cost of healthcare and the fear of a person getting sick and their insurance or their Medicare or their Medicare Advantage not covering all the different costs, right? So medical bankruptcy is the number one fear that's out there right now. It's like, if I get sick, what's going to happen to me? Am I going to get the care I need, or am I just going to die sick, alone, and old and unhealthy? You know,
Mhm.
so and that's secondarily, it affects their housing as well. So housing was the number two, but medical bankruptcy was the biggest fear.
I believe it.
So it was those two things, and they're related, was housing and medical bankruptcy. The
Yeah.
cost
No,
of
I believe
living.
it.
Mm-hmm.
I believe it. And full disclosure, man, I make pretty good money. You know what I mean? Pretty damn good money. However, when it comes to when it comes to the medical stuff that you have to get, no matter what, you got to get it done. You know, somebody in the house needs surgery, you got to get it done. You got to take care of yourself. But, you know, we've seen bills come to the house, or seen things where we're like, man, did we really just see a bill for $1.2 million for stuff dealing with somebody that we're taking care of, right? I'm not going to say who they are, but for support, $1.2 million. I don't care, you know. Oh, I would, yeah, middle class, that will wipe anybody the hell out.
Yep.
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That will wipe anybody out. So I'm vibing with you on that. I agree. I agree with that, like, completely. And so you're hearing this from a lot of the people. It sounds like that's what they're
What
worried
happens
about.
if I get sick, Miguel? How am I going to pay for it? And what happens? And then if I can't, do I pay my rent, or do I pay my medical bill? You know, and it's gotten to the point where some people are, Miguel, I'm have two jobs. I'm door dashing, I'm hustling, and I have to decide whether I'm going to get my medicine for me or my medicine for my baby. You know, like this, people are struggling, man, and it's not because we're spending the money in the right place. It's because we're giving tax cuts to the richest people in the world. You know, this is why we're suffering. You know?
Yeah, I'm glad you said that. Why do you think? why do you think that there is so much fighting from a few groups of people that I've noticed when it comes to, like, the millionaires tax code and all of that? Like, why do you feel like, and this is what, and maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like it's the poorest people that are fighting their ass off for the billionaires. And the reason that I say this, and I don't understand it, and if anybody has listened to my show and they've seen the episode, I actually interviewed a billionaire, and we were talking about, you know, regular folks like us losing their job, and he just said, oh, well, they'll figure it out. That's kind of the way that it works. But you see these freaking people, they're fighting their ass off to make sure that the billionaires keep their money. Why is that?
Tony, if I can tell you that, we're going to solve, why do people vote against their best interests, right? So why are we defending people? Is there something in our minds that think I'm just a billionaire that's going to come out inside, you know? But my argument against that is, like, you know what? The second I make $1 million, please tax me more. I've got plenty to go around. I want to get that high tax bracket. That's my goal in life, is to hit that millionaire tax bracket. Come on, you know, like, I don't need $1 billion. Give me $1 million so you can tax me. You know, I don't want to frame it that way. I feel like I'm just a millionaire inside. No, I'm not a billionaire inside. I don't want $1 billion. I'm a millionaire. I want to make it to the level where you start taxing me more. Please, Tony, let's make it happen. Tax me. Once I get $1 million, tax me.
All right, we got you on the record.
I'm gonna be fine, man. I'm making $1 million.
Tax the hell out of you once you get it.
Yeah, and I think wasn't it Lisa that came on, like, that $1 million where we start? You're like, you're making $1 million too. Then your taxable rate is 200,000. I still got $1 million tax free, right?
That blew my mind. Yeah,
right?
No, that's exactly. I think that's exactly what she said. It blew my damn mind. It blew my mind because I listen. I do quite a bit of listening to both sides. I try to do that, and I listening to some of the stuff people were saying, like, yeah, trickle down economics. I'm like, okay. But then when she told me, obviously she's like really looking at these bills. When she told me that it won't even affect a lot of people,
Yeah,
and it only starts at that. I think it was like 1.2 or something like that. I'm
right,
just like, it just don't make sense.
right. And like I said to you, Tony, like, please let me make $1 million so I can be a millionaire. I can make the millionaire tax. That's how we should approach this. Let's be a
Mhm.
millionaire first, and then let's worry about it. So, but I'm just saying, making $1 million is really hard, and you're going to make it off the backs of a lot of people. So tax me if I make $1 million, please.
Mm.
I have you talked to Maria Littleson yet? She worked on the
Soon. She's actually
soon.
we've been
Okay,
talking. Yeah, we've
she
been
worked on
talking.
the
She's gonna
levy.
come soon.
She worked on the school levy, right? And I don't have kids, but tax
Mm.
me. I want your kids to get a good education. I want your kids to think. Go ahead and tax me a little more. You know, for this levy. And I don't think we should be done by levies. We should have a statewide tax system so that we can equalize our public education, because the poorest districts are like begging for loggers to come log their towns
Mm.
and their constituency so they can get money for their schools. It's like we don't need to be logging to give people education. We can do this another way, you know.
So she got a levy that's
So
going to be on the ballot coming soon.
she's the levy passed 62%. She did a great job, but we're gonna have to fight for the levy again in 3 years or 4 years.
Okay.
You know,
Yeah, I need to
but
remember
so
to
this
ask
is a
her how she did
constant
it. Yeah.
battle. This is a constant battle, and we need to do more for our schools, and we're just hanging on right now. You know,
Yeah,
we're
I know there's an issue in I think in Yelm with their schools too that they're working through. You know anything about that situation?
same. They're doing emergency levies, and they haven't. I don't think they've passed one in a while. So they're like there's nothing else to cut. You know,
Yeah.
so this is what I heard. I don't know if that's exactly true, but that's just what I heard around town, is that they haven't passed the levy in a long time, and now it's like do or die right now. If they don't pass this next levy, then Yelm School District might just disintegrate.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah, I wish more people knew that because I mean, I've lived in a town where freaking all the schools that you've went to, seeing people after me, freaking not going to my alma mater, but going to schools in other cities, and it's the worst. It tears down morale. It's just different going to a school that's in your community. So yeah,
yeah.
that's why I asked you that. But I'm curious. So if you're elected, how will
hmm
you make sure that you're listening not only to the people that voted for you, but the people that didn't?
Yeah, it's a great question. I'm part of this community. I'm all over town, so I'm accessible. People can talk to me almost anywhere. I walk down the street and people stop me. I'm having coffee at the local cafe. People stop and talk to me. I'm walking my dog at the dog park. People stop and talk to me. I'm at Walmart. People go, Miguel, my water bill's too high and I got potholes. I'm like, okay, where do you live and I'm working on the water, so, but I'm
Damn.
part of this community. I go to Rotary Club every Thursday. We have lunch. I'm part of the church, the Shelter United Methodist Church. I just joined, and I was an ex-Catholic. So sorry, Mom, I chose the Methodists. So, she told me to go back to church. I did. It wasn't the Catholic Church.
I didn't say
You
which
know,
one. You see?
she didn't say which one. But yeah, I'm part of this community, Tony. Like you, I'm very open. And please come to chambers, come to the county chambers, and tell me what you need. You get 3 minutes of First Amendment time. That's true in the city as well. Come with a business plan and ask nicely, and it will be more readily heard and more readily worked on than if you come at me with anger and distress. That's just
Mm.
how human nature is, and that's just how people are. right? I'm more likely to come at you if you come at me with a nice business plan, than if you came at me with anger and vitriol and finger guns or something, you know. Um, I'm much more amenable to someone having a real conversation with me, a sit down conversation, than yelling and screaming epithets at me and wanting me dead or gone, you know. So that's a better way. It's a better way to talk to your politicians is be civil and be professional.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. I hate seeing it. I hate seeing and me and you were talking about this before we got started, but I hate seeing the the comments where they're like, "I wish you were dead," or I even
Mm-hmm.
seen one. And it was like, "You should be hung," and then somebody said, "No, they should go in front of a fire line." I'm like, "This
Mm-hmm.
is this like an SNL skit or something?" Like it's
Mm-hmm.
so insane. And then people are like, "Well, it's our right to freedom of speech," and I'm just like, "No, man, like you don't go." Yeah, you got a freedom of speech, but like you should be corrected. You should be freaking cast away, in my opinion. The people
Mm-hmm.
that talk and act like that, I'm glad that you brought that up, and I want to know, how do you deal with that, like mentally? Because I'm not gonna lie, dude, it pisses me off. And some nights I'm like, okay, I got time tonight, let's go.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah.
how do you deal with it?
Yeah.
I'm curious.
Oh, that's one of the hardest things is to see criticism like that that's unfounded and just angry and hateful. That really it hurts people's souls, you know. It hurts my soul. Um, Luckily, I've got a really cool dog, and I go take a walk, and I don't. I my dog's so cool. My dog nudges my phone and says, "Stop looking at the Facebook scrolling," you know, and walk
Damn.
me, you know. So I've got ways to deal with, you know, a little meditation, a little downtime, but knowing that that's out there is really dangerous because some people are angry and some people stop thinking straight and some people just are in this echo chamber of anger and madness and people snap, you know. So it's a dangerous time to it's a dangerous thing to do is to you know, put into thought and energy what you want to physically harm somebody, you know, that's out there in the universe, right? So you manifested it and it's out there. Someone might pick it up and run with it, you know. So
Yeah.
it's better not to, it's better to relax and meditate and remember, hey, we're all human beings trying to get through this thing called life, you know. And my being negative towards you is not going to help us get there, you know.
Right.
But my understanding and hearing you going, yeah, that really sucks that you didn't get um, your diagnosis correct and now you're not getting what percentage of your disability, or you know, this is what we talk about. People like, some person was angry at me for like, I only got my 50% disability, but my friend who was in the same accident got 100%, so we should not have any disability at all because it's all unfair. And I was like,
That makes sense.
yeah, maybe we should just do some reform instead of getting rid of all of it, right? And then he
Right. Right.
calmed down and thought, yeah, okay, you know, but you're just angry and you know, once if you don't get it, you don't want it for anybody, right? Like you're you're not thinking straight, you know, like calm down, think about this, how it affects everybody. Get out of yourself for a second and think about what how it affects the whole community. And maybe someday it'll the light will pop and you're like, yeah, this is about everybody, not just me, right? So and we have to keep extending that chance for people to like get out of their anger and come back. This is what we talk about in the recovery community, right? Like I used to drink and gamble, I'll tell you straight up, that was part of my, you know, part of my thing. And in the recovery community, we talk about how the best apology is change behavior, right?
Mm.
Change your behavior. I don't want reparations. I don't want you to give me gifts because you know, I want you to change your behavior. I want you to stop drinking. I want you to stop gambling. I want you to stop doing whatever you're doing. And and that's the hard part, right? Because you know you're going to go through withdrawals. You know you're going to have to not hang out with the same people. You're going to have to
Hmm.
change your life in some way, and that's what's difficult, right? So a lot of people who are experiencing, you know, the echo chamber of the MAGA movement, which is rapidly disappearing because we see what's going on. Um, I didn't sign up for all this cruelty. I didn't sign up for all of this. I didn't sign up for, you know, and now we have to give people of folks back, say, hey, I forgive you, brother. Come on back. You hurt us. You hurt everybody. But now you saw the light. Come on back. Let's talk about how we work together in the future. I forgive you. Let's make the future brighter. Let's not dwell on all this anger that we have for each other. You know, let's move forward. You know, we've got groups like this here in Mason County. There's a peacemakers group that gets together and talks about things that we can do together as a whole community that's non-controversial. One of the people that's running, her name is Tammy Clark for Clerk. She's one of these peacemakers. She's a Republican. I'm going to talk well about her. I'll talk because she believes that our future is together, working together, and we need to stop all this angriness and vitriol, and get corruption out of our government, and get people in there who know what they're doing, and get people who care about the future and are willing to overlook the non-perfectness of our neighbor. You know, that we're willing to work together to generate a good future for everybody. This is what our dreams were. This is Martin Luther King talked about this and all the time, and I have to keep going back to this. Like we want to. I'm Filipino, man. I just want to barbecue and karaoke with everybody. You know, like that's my immigrant America dream growing up. Was we had parties where we just had a ton of food, karaoke, invited all the neighbors. You know what? Let's have that again. You know, that's not happening so much anymore. You know, like I want to talk about how they should have headed the ball to Marshawn Lynch instead of trying to throw real quick. Like, come on, let's go down. Let's live or die with Marshawn. Give him the ball. He's gonna run it through. If not, he was our best chance anyway. You know, like I want to be talking about that kind of stuff. And talk about, come on, Pete Carroll. Let's talk about how Pete Carroll messed it up. You know, or
with everything going on these days.
You know, we need to talk. We need to be talking about football and baseball and not, not killing each other. You know, Tony.
Yeah. No, I agree, man. And with everything going on these days, it's like, that stuff don't matter as much as it used to matter. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. Let me ask you this as we hit the top of the hour, man. This is fun, man. We got to do this again.
Sure.
I'll tell you, Miguel, I had some questions that I had for you, man. We didn't get to 90% of them, but I'm glad we didn't. This is good, man.
Invite me back to ask your questions. You know,
no, man, you definitely could come on anytime, man. This is amazing.
I'm not afraid of who I am. I've done all my shadow work. You just come and ask. I'll tell you. I'll be authentic. I'm that one politician that said Miguel will tell me the truth, even if it hurts. You know, so
you said shadow work. You said shadow work. Do you listen? Do you prescribe to Carl Jung? Is that who that is?
Yeah. We had a lot of time during COVID. You know, I had to try to stay away from that Tiger King stuff, and try to develop my mind. So Carl Jung was part of that. Also, who's that guy? Now I'm forgetting his name. But a lot of all the Stoics. I'm into the Stoics as well. So
Marcus Aurelius. Maybe that's who you were thinking.
Yeah, Marcus Aurelius. Yeah, that's really like calmed me down. Like, Miguel, realize you're gonna meet some people today that are not gonna get it. So be ready for that.
Definitely. Marcus Aurelius meditations help me out a bit because I'm one of those people. Man, I just love people. Right. And I want to make used to be I'm recovering, right? I'm in recovery. Used to be one of those people who want to make everybody happy. And then once that don't happen, I'm just crushed.
Right.
But, the Stoic, I love the idea of it is what it is, whether it's a good thing, whether it's a bad thing, you still need to be who you are as a person. So that's good. Let me ask you this. Was there one question that you were like, you know what? I really wish Tony going to ask me this today for this interview. Is there? I'm curious. I want to make sure I get to before we close.
Yeah, this is the time where we need to put party aside and talk about being human to each other again. you
Mm.
know, and I'm fed up with, you know, AI and data centers and people wanting all our energy and people wanting all our water. And, you know, the environment's falling apart. The world is on fire. You know, there's so much going on in our world. And, you know, I'm just, how do we, how do we get together again as a people and work on these things and not be angry with each other so that we can have a future, you know? And all these little things we're discussing right now, it seems like small compared to what we're doing to the environment. And um, we might not have a planet to live on pretty soon. Like we've got smoke everywhere. The world's on fire. Um,
Literally.
we can do a lot of things locally to mitigate this, and we're not doing it. And I wish that we could do more for the environment and our water, and to have a space to live. You know, um, and all these problems, they will always be with us, but you know, we have to discover the hero within ourselves. We're on this amazing journey. Like, I'm scared, I'm tired, but you know, I keep thinking about the people who keep me going, you know, and like, I'm here because this guy fought so hard for me to have these rights, to fight for these rights, to continue to fight for them, you know. And you know, happily ever after is a myth, y'all. We have to work on this every day. Every day we have to wake up and be the people we want to be, you know. And that's something that we learned from recovery as well, right? Like, am I gonna like backslide into what my bad habits before, or am I gonna like make this day truly worth living, you know? What am I
Mm.
going to do with the time that I have? Right. That's another question that I ask myself. Miguel, you still got all of this. You still got your mind. You still got friends. You've got an amazing dog. You got amazing family and friends. Look at all the things you have gratitude for. I've got running water and electricity. Thank you, New Deal. Right. Thank you, the Public Utilities District. Thank you for everyone who's come before me. You know, I'm here right now in America. I practice democracy every Tuesday night at City Council. You know, this is the American dream, but you know, it's fading and dying on us. You know, let's give it some life again. You know, talk to your neighbors. That's how I
Yeah.
got elected the first time, was being a good neighbor to people who weren't in my party. You know, my neighbors propelled me to where I am today, and then the friends that I made along the way made it easy for me to be in city council again and to be in this position to run for county. You know, it's it's everyone together in community who said, Miguel, you're our guy, you're my guy, go in there and fight for me. This is a representative democracy. I want you to represent me. You know, get in there. And like, I'm going to ask all of you to do the same thing. Come help me. Come join these citizen panels. Come run against me. You know, primary me. Make sure that I do what I say I do. You know, nothing's given to me. Everything that we have to earn. If I don't earn this in 4 years, vote me out. You know, come and get me. But I'm going to do what I'm going to do. Um, I hope that you come along with me and that we make this 4 years, you know, something that we work together on, and that we have more successes than defeats, you know.
I love
And I've studied this in school. I lived my whole life thinking about, how do I make this county better? How do I make our friends and relatives get together again? How do we not try to imprison each other or extinguish each other? How do we live together? You know, and that's a question I wanted you to ask me, is Miguel, how do we live together in the future?
how do we live
And
in the
I'm
future?
still working on that answer. You
Still
know,
working on
but
it. Yeah, you got a lot of
yeah.
fire. I freaking love it.
Thank
Look,
you
can you
so
do me
much.
a favor? I would love
Yeah.
for you to get the last word. I'll pop just you up. For the people that are listening right now, the people that are going to listen and watch this thing later when they get off of work, um, can just imagine with me? I got go down imaginary lane. Imagine with me that, maybe somebody, they're going to pick up their phone as they're getting ready to go walk and put in their ballot, or they're filling it out at the kitchen table. Imagine that they're seeing you for the last time before they cast their ballot, and to
Mhm.
them why they should vote for you. And then we'll close on that. I'll let you have the last word.
Okay. Thanks, Tony.
Yeah.
Um, Hello, my name is Miguel Gutierrez. I'm not really a politician. I'm a teacher. I'm a community organizer. I'm someone who cares about the environment. I'm someone who cares about our futures, our hopes, and our dreams. Um, I just want to implore you that I will think about housing, healthcare, and hope. I want a place where we have peace, love, and justice. And these are not just words I throw out lightly. These are words that come from a first-generation immigrant who believes in the American dream and who wants to bring it to everybody. I want you to think about, who do you want representing you? Someone who's studied all this in school, someone who's a mama's boy, straight A student, who wants to make sure that everyone gets this American dream chance? Or, do you want to go down a road where you're fearful of your neighbor? I am your neighbor. I'm here. I'm generous, happy, and healthy, and want to share my generosity, happiness, and health with you. Would you vote for me? And would you go through the process with me to keep democracy alive and vote? And please vote for the person you think that is best for your situation and who thinks will do the best job for you, who will represent you. I think I'm that person. Please vote for Miguel for County Commissioner District 3 in this election. All right, Tony?
Whew, that was great. If you enjoyed this podcast, well, I'm sure you enjoyed it. If you're still here with us, what I want you to do is head over to your favorite podcast and streaming network and give us a download, subscribe to the channel, and also let us know what you think about the show. And from the bottom of my heart, I want to say thank you for the things that you've done. Thank you for the things that you're doing. And especially thank you for the things that you're going to do, because I know that you're going to do something amazing.